Hey, how's it going? It's Cameron here. We're just here at the ThoughtXchange. I got a special guest tonight. We got Ron Vandenberg over here and my co-host here, Steve Van Diest. What's going on? What are we talking about tonight? Robin, you just moved here from another country, from around the world.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing I want to know is
what brought you to Edmonton? Yeah, what brought you to Edmonton?
I always wonder that because the biggest thing is like I'm born here.
Yeah.
So I know why I'm here, right? I'm born here, family's here. I leave. I always find that the people that come to Edmonton are small town. So St. Paul, Fort McMurray, they all move to Edmonton, right? Because it's the big city, and then people from Edmonton move to like Toronto, Vancouver.
Yeah, people
Montreal.
from Edmonton move away.
But what I'm noticing is as I come back, more people are starting to migrate to Edmonton, and then now I'm kind of wondering, like, someone from Holland, how did Edmonton even show up on your map?
It's a story I think that started 60 years ago.
60?
60 years ago.
Okay.
It was after the war, after my grandfather's brother decided that the economy in Holland was bad. And as a farmer, he thought he'd see a better economy in Canada, for farmers at least. So he moved to Ontario initially, about 60 years ago. And later on, he moved to Edmonton, and in the meantime, he had a daughter. And I remember as a small kid that we used to have Uncle Ari coming over from Canada. It was like a super special thing. He'd been in Canada for so long, he didn't even speak proper Dutch anymore. So he'd be speaking Dutch with a real thick English accent. So about 2 years ago, he's long past. So he died a couple of, over 10 years ago. And for me, it was pretty much a story for Canada until about 2 years ago. His daughter contacted us because through the Dutch bakery here, she won tickets to go to Holland. And I was living in Barcelona.
The Dutch bakery, the Duchess?
That's what I'm saying, the Duchess? Because that's wild.
No, it's
the Dutch bakery.
Delicious, I believe it is.
No, the Duchess.
The Duchess. The Duchess.
The Duchess.
I think that's the Dutch.
There's another one. There's
D-E
Dutch
Duchess.
Delicious.
Dutch Delicious? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I got to find this bakery.
Dutch Delicious?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, that's real crazy. Like,
Yeah.
this is wild.
So they want tickets to come over to Holland. So she started contacting.
Hold on 1 second. So this is like the biggest small world ever. Like, so your grandpa's
brothers
brothers
moved to Canada.
So
moved
you're
to Canada
60 years ago.
60 years ago,
His
yeah.
daughter now wants to go to Holland and reached out to you.
Yeah,
guys.
Exactly.
but like, she won tickets. Like, your blood family relative won tickets to go to Holland.
But
Yeah.
needed somewhere to stay.
Needed somewhere to stay. So she reached out to you?
To my family. Well, she didn't need somewhere to stay, but she wanted to get in touch with her family because she hadn't seen them in 25 years.
Yeah.
So she through Facebook, she contacted my mom initially, and they were very hospitable, and they said, well, we have a spare room because Robin's not here.
Yeah.
So you can stay over at ours, and it's right next to my grandfather, where she had been 25 years ago.
Okay.
So
So it's like going home for her.
Yeah, that rebooted the whole contact between
That's
the
wild.
family.
Yeah.
So another thing she did is she booked a cruise that would go from France to Spain to Italy and then back to France. And the second stop on the cruise was Barcelona, where I was living back then. So my mom told her,
Barcelona's wild.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's sick. He's living in
That's
Spain?
my end destination, Barcelona. Like that place is wild, bro. Like
and it's so much warmer than here.
It's like, okay, that's on a side note. That place is just, they got the beach right in downtown, man. Like, how awesome
I know they're
is
doing
that?
it right,
They're
man.
doing it right, bro.
What the hell are we doing, man? Dude,
Yeah,
I'm freezing my royal
we'll get
mayonnaise
back to
off
that.
over
So
here.
you live in
Yeah, we'll get back to the
You're living
beach.
in
Like,
Barcelona, and then she pops by
and,
Barcelona.
and then my mom said, like, oh, if you have a stop in Barcelona, why don't you contact my son? he can show you around. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. I'll take a day off and I'll show you guys around. And we had such a good connection together that we kept in touch. And then a year later, she decided to come back to Holland and Barcelona again, because she only stayed one day during the cruise, because they literally get on shore, get off the boat, look around, and then get back on the boat.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, I had a small touch of what Barcelona is like. I want to see more of this. So she booked a hotel for a couple of days, and she stayed over for the second year. And in the meantime, I had found ridiculously cheap tickets to go to Montreal.
Beautiful city, by the way.
Yeah.
Montreal.
For 160 euros.
How the hell?
Yeah, I know. So Air Canada.
Dude, I paid $2,000 to go from Edmonton to Montreal. That's a whole other thing. How airplanes in Canada fuck us.
And then you were homeless.
Oh,
You had to stay on the street because you had nowhere to stay.
if the girls listening to this or watching this who made me homeless, I'm not mad at you, but I am mad at you. I stayed by.
It was an experience. You had an experience out of it. And you told me you wouldn't have been able to.
I wouldn't have been. Yeah. Yo, I met Lo Pesci out there. I met a guy named Saul Goodman. I met a bunch of rappers. Thesaurus was out there. A bunch of cool rappers. Anyways, yeah, I ended up. I had to spend. If you're listening, I had to spend my first night on Rue Bishop, right beside the Prada store, and I stayed with my skateboard, and my backpack. Because you didn't answer your phone. Or ever texted me back.
She gave you the wrong number, man.
It was Canada Day, man. Like he went for a wild trip though, man.
Yeah.
He had one rough night, but then the rest of his trip was like amazing.
It was pretty dope. Well, I stayed in hostels because everything was booked, and every day I was there, I had to find a new place to live. I forgot about that story.
Its own, man.
I blacked that story out. Anyways, Montreal.
So now you're going to
Montreal's
Montreal.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, so I found these ridiculously cheap tickets because Air Canada made a mistake and they forgot to add the fuel surcharges to the tickets.
Yeah.
So I just booked the ticket without even asking days off. I was just like, okay, this is now or never. I booked the flights. So I went there and I really liked it. I got to meet up with some friends who I knew through traveling. I took a kangaroo ride up to Quebec as well. And then included in my airfare was a flight to Toronto where I then had 24 hours layover. And then I flew back to Barcelona.
What was included on your flight? A trip to Toronto too?
Yeah, so it was...
What?
So I flew Barcelona, Brussels.
We got to buy our tickets from Europe.
Yeah. Can you buy my tickets for me from Edmonton? Does that work like that? Is there a workaround?
Flights are cheaper if they originate from Europe.
How does this make any sense?
Taxes. It's taxes.
Jeez. Okay, anyways, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But
So the flight was Barcelona, Brussels, Brussels, Montreal. Had a couple days in Montreal, then went up to Quebec and back. And then
Do you speak French?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you speak Spanish, Dutch, English, and French. You speak 4 languages.
German.
And German, 5 languages.
Yeah.
This guy, man.
which German though? Like, is it high or low? Like that makes or break this whole language thing. Like, you can't speak high German. Like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
No, we got 4 languages. Like, anyways, I keep going on with the story.
Yeah. So I had I had one day in Toronto, and then I flew back, and that made me it made me realize that my next step was going to be Canada, but I also had Australia in the back of my mind to go to. So it was going to be either one of them. So
Now, is Holland part of the Commonwealth?
no.
No. So either one of those places is tough to get jobs in, isn't it? If you're not part of the Commonwealth?
No.
Because like Canada and Australia are pretty much.
It helps being Canadian in Australia.
Yeah.
Actually, it helps being from the UK and Australia a lot more
Yeah.
than Canadian. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. So, but I went to read up into the visa procedures for both the countries.
Yeah.
So how it works with the working holiday visas for Canada is that they basically work with a pool. So you sign up, you enter the pool, and they pick so many people every week, and then at the end of the route, they've given out so many visas. So there's a maximum on it.
Yeah.
For Australia, you just sign up and you get it.
Yeah.
I got mine in 20 hours or something.
Yeah.
It was almost immediate. I was like, that was weird.
It's just automatic. Like, come to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll sign up for the pools for Canada. if that doesn't work out, I'll go to Australia first. So I signed up, and within 24 hours, I got my
Same thing happened.
I got my invitation to apply.
Just let's bring the Dutch over.
Yeah.
They want money, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, keep going, yeah.
So that all happened in the same time that we reconnected with my family here. So I was thinking maybe to go to Montreal because I really liked it here. It's beautiful. And on the other hand, I thought, well, it's a good way to meet my family here because I'd never been to the west side of Canada. Plus, I like skiing, so it's good to be around the Rockies here.
Yeah.
So eventually, I thought, well, my French isn't good enough to probably find a proper job in Montreal. Maybe I'll become a ski teacher here. Well, that didn't work out because I already was kind of broke. So going for a profession where you barely make any money, that wouldn't make sense either. So I thought I'll go to Edmonton, to the city, and I try to find a proper job.
Yeah. Working in the resorts, you just basically work to live there.
Yeah, and
you
I want to
your
live
ski-
to work.
And your ski pass.
You don't want to live to work.
No.
I want to work to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of Australians, a lot of Kiwis go to the Rockies and
Banff.
the Whistler and Banff, and
Yeah,
they're just
Whistler is infested.
But then you're
with
trapped
Australians.
there.
infested.
Yeah.
they're trapped.
But then you're trapped there. You can't go anywhere.
and they just party like hard.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. Well, like
Yeah.
you ski during the day, and then
And
sometimes
I-
you can't ski during the day because you're working the lifts.
Yeah, that's,
You know, like so you're just, it's like being in the candy store and not allowed to eat any of the candy. You know,
dude, it'd be horrible. Like I would
It'd be
hate that.
That would be so mean.
Being a
And at
lifting would
night
be
you're
awful.
working as a waiter because you're not making enough money or you're spending it all
Yeah.
on
They
booze.
Spend it all boozing. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know countless people that
It's
do
a
that.
vicious cycle.
And
yeah.
they live in these little hostel style dorms where everyone's
Yeah.
just banging each other, and it's just nuts.
And I was like, why waste half a year of work experience on? I mean, it's awesome working in the resorts.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
100%.
sure. But I get to an age where I now have to work for my resume as well
Yeah,
to
yeah.
improve my resume to get better jobs and eventually better wages.
Yeah.
Because in Barcelona, I was basically working for 1,800 Canadian dollars a month.
What were you doing in Barcelona?
I was doing web development as well for a travel company, but I was paid by Spanish standards pretty
Yeah.
much. The minimum wage there is 700 euros a month, so
Yeah, here it's like
that's
really
like
low.
1,100 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if I go to Spain, I have to be making the money here. And
Yeah. That's
the only way to do
That's
it,
the
yeah,
only way
yeah.
to do it because I can't go down there and try to make money. You can make a little bit, but like not
No,
lots.
you got to.
I was making just enough to get by and save a little bit.
Yeah.
Good thing is that the beer there is really cheap.
The beer. everyone does the world standard by how much is beer. Like they go like, oh yeah, I went to the UK, man. Fucking beer was like $20 a pint. You know, like, and then like, yeah, man, I went to Asia.
when
and it was
someone's been
10.
to London for a week, they start to say quid instead of pound.
Yeah, hey, that's true. Actually, it's hilarious. So what is it that you're doing in Edmonton now for work?
So you just got a job.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just got a job.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Like I guess you just got here 2 weeks ago?
2.5 weeks ago. Well, I did. I went to Edmonton the first time end of September, beginning of October, to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family.
Yeah.
First time Thanksgiving because it's something we don't do in Europe, and try to find a job because I figured that it's really hard just to apply for jobs when you're overseas.
Yeah.
You're sending emails, you don't have a local phone number, you don't have a local address. They basically bing your resume right in when they see you're a foreigner. So
Yeah, they accident you right off the bat. They're like, "The fuck's this number?" It's like it's like 021, like weird phone numbers, right?
Yeah.
What's it
Plus
in?
34 it was for me.
Yeah, the 34 in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, "What is that?" Like,
I'm not calling that.
I'm not
This is a
calling
hack.
that. Yeah, what is that? It is some-
This someone's trolling
Some
me.
Nigerian prince.
some Nigerian friend.
He's sending me. He's saying he can do work for me. Just to give you guys a heads up on what's actually happened. So how we actually gotten connected here. So our site got hacked, and this young gentleman was kind enough to fix it for us because Cameron was swimming and didn't know what was going on,
It was
and
the weirdest. I didn't even know. I didn't even.
so
well,
it was just a series of events that.
okay, yeah. Actually, I don't know how we explain this, but like we could twist this in like a way of like everything lined up to get that whole like.
It started 60 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, everything started 6 years
It
ago.
was your
basically.
grandpa. This is your grandpa.
For this
For
divine meeting.
this divine meeting. It was wild though. Okay, what ended up happening was I was going to. So I run multiple websites, or I'm building multiple. Anyways, there's a lot going on. So I was going to a coffee shop to do some work on one of my sites. And I'm just explaining to the viewers here, and actually to you, because I'm not even sure if I told you the full story.
No.
But I go to this one coffee shop, and I'm like, I use that space as my office. Pretty much, they just know me there. So I show up there, and I'm like, oh shit, they close on Tuesdays now. Like they just randomly close, right? I don't know why they close. They close
Yeah,
Tuesdays.
because you would
Business
never
is
go to
tough.
the same coffee shop.
No,
You
I
would've
would
been a
no.
different-
I
you
used to
would've
go there all the time. I
Yeah.
knew the owner. His name's Ash. Nice guy. Anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this other coffee shop, and I was like, I'm not gonna say the name, but I walked over to it, and I was like, I don't really get a creative vibe there. I can't do it. And then I went to another one that I used to go to all the time, and I was friends with the owner and everything was all cool. And I go there, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can do some work on here, right? I'm standing in line to get my stuff, and I'm talking with the new owner now, and we're just kind of bullshitting. He walks behind me, and I was like, I gotta leave. I gotta take my coffee and go sit down because Robin wanted to order. I didn't know his name was Robin at the time. Anyways,
You're pressuring him, breathing out his neck.
yeah, he was like,
He's like,
"Get
I
this
need
guy
a
out of
coffee,
here.
man.
I
This
need a
guy's
coffee."
talking.
Yeah,
He's being social butterfly.
I was
again.
yakking up. I was
Because these
chatting.
Canadians don't stop talking.
I was chatting up the new girl, and we were just talking and everything. And then I was like, oh, I gotta go. So I go sit down, but I overhear that this guy's from Holland. And then I heard the accent, and then I sit down. I start putting on my laptop. He sits down right beside me, and I was like, hey, so I heard you're from Holland. And then it just kind of kicked off from there. And then he's like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, just working on some websites. And he's like, oh, I do the exact same thing. And then I was like, do you mind helping me with a little problem that I have? And then anyways, he fixed the site from getting hacked. And then it was just kind of wild. But it was really crazy because I actually wasn't going to leave because I've been cutting down on the coffee thing. But I wasn't going to leave the house. I was just going to stay in the little home office. And I didn't do that. I was like, no, I'm going to go to this coffee shop. But lo and behold, it was closed.
Yeah.
And that, if that wasn't closed, I wouldn't have met up with you ever.
Now some plumber's pissed off because he doesn't have as much advertising going on anymore.
Oh yeah, some guy put a bunch of plumbing stuff on our website. So if you went to txcshow.com and it just showed up, it was a bunch of plumbers.
That wasn't us.
Had nothing to do with that. But he saved us. It would have taken me weeks to fix that. This guy was just going through. Actually, can you explain to them what actually happened?
So the website's built basically in WordPress, and WordPress is used currently about, I think, 50% of all the websites worldwide, including the White House website.
Yeah.
So
The White House website is on
built on WordPress.
Dude, WordPress is an open source code website, man. That's how all the hackers get in.
Exactly. So
Why would the White House be on WordPress? This is the dumbest thing ever.
They corrected that. Come on, there's so much more
Security?
security on that. Yeah, of course. But because there's so many websites online using WordPress, it's an easy target.
Yeah.
So
For bots, right?
for bots, yeah,
More so bots. It's not malicious. It's not malicious in the fact
They're going after Cameron specifically.
Yeah, someone's
no,
like,
it's
"Fuck
not
Cameron,
a
I'm gonna-"
personal attack.
Yeah.
Because when I used to work for a web hosting company, and that's where I learned most of the hacking stuff, and I had to tell people this is not personal to you. It's just bots. They go down the internet and try to hack everything.
Because people get nervous and be like, why is someone hacking me personally?
Yeah.
What are they going after? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas it's just someone creates a little virus,
algorithm
algorithm that just goes through the internet
Exactly.
and just chews it up.
It's just an easy target. I mean, why would you attack one website when you can attack a million websites at the same time? Some bots just try to install Bitcoin miners, try to make a buck out of that. Some ads, by the way, those ads are based on personal interest, so I'm not sure if you were looking for a plumber.
I don't know. Was that? Are they actually based on personal interest?
Yeah.
I don't even know how that.
Because they use the
popped up.
cookies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did I click on anything plumbing?
I don't know.
Maybe it was thinking about it because my sink's backed up and I gotta fix it. Maybe this
Just knows
microphone
the microphone picks
picked
it up.
up my thoughts.
Oh man, there's so much stuff going on now, man. That stuff is picking up. With the fact that they can do voice recognition, they're for sure those cookies are being created.
What do you mean
on your
voice
phone.
recognition?
Well, with voice recognition, whatever you say, the computer knows what you're saying.
So yeah.
So your microphone will pick that up.
I mean,
and it
it's
will
something
create the
that I
cookies.
still don't understand how it works, and I'm quite tech savvy. But they say my microphone's off, but when I say "Hey Siri,"
It's on.
It's listening.
Yeah. It's always listening.
It's
always listening. The only way to turn the microphone off, if you people have the old school phone, you need to get, like, if you really want to be weary about this kind of stuff, one, you could put a tape over top of your your cameras, and then for your microphone, to cut your microphone, you need to get like a cable jack, and then plug it in, and then cut the cable. That's the only way you can do it, because you have to break the
circuit.
The circuit. So that's how you would do it.
Okay, so explain to the lovely folks at home what we're doing with getting a cable. So what are we doing? I'm getting a headphone jack.
So you get a headphone jack. So your headphone jack cable, right? So the only way,
the 3.5 millimeter one.
Yeah, either 3.5 millimeter one or whatever your jack is for your thing.
Yeah.
When you put that into a thing, what it does is it creates a connection through. It recircuits the connection through that cable. So you can now listen and hear, and there's a microphone. So now that signal, instead of going through your circuit board, it goes through the cable. So if you run it through the cable and then cut the circuit.
So you're cutting off the earbuds.
You cut off the earbuds.
Yeah.
So you cut off the earbuds. So what happens is the circuit now gets cut, and now all of a sudden there's no current running through, so your microphone has been shut off.
Yeah.
That's the only way you know that the thing is completely shut off and it's not working.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not getting you. The other way you could do it is you could put your phone in a Faraday cage, which means no one can call you because it's in a little cage box where like no signals can come in and out of, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and
You haven't lived out here long enough.
I mean, I have quite some trust in Apple. I think they're doing a great job on protecting privacy. Actually, I mean, if you look at Google, they are the devil pretty much.
They're the devil.
Because there's two different markets.
That's a wild.
Apple.
That's wild accusation. Allegedly the devil. They're allegedly. We have to say allegedly. We can't make wild claims like that.
Oh, right. This is North America.
Yeah.
There's going to be FBI agents at the door.
IRS.
IRS, everyone's there. Some guy from Google, yeah.
Some guy from Google is be like, yo, these guys said we were the devil.
Kill
rid
him,
of
done, everything. Everything's done.
Shut their computer down.
Yeah. Oh, we just disappear off the planet.
You go there.
If the show stops, we didn't.
Yeah, Alex Jones, we go in the Alex Jones.
Oh,
yeah,
Alex,
that's a wild
but
experience.
that's another experience. Like Alex Jones, like Apple boycotted. Like that's
Google that boycotted him, isn't it?
Apple boycotted him.
It was like
a
all
universal.
media companies are
They just
universal.
said Alex Jones is done.
They call it the purge.
Yeah, and so like you get blacklisted, and all of a sudden you can't do anything.
How is that legal?
Like,
is that legal?
Well, it's
You
there.
break they say that you break the T's and
terms and
C's, and
conditions,
then
Well,
they can
the
do
thing
pretty
is
much
everybody's breaking the T's and C's, right? Like every little agreement that you have, like everybody can technically go to jail because they've made an internet crime. Because every single one of those agreements that you have,
We've all broken them
we've
in
all
ways
broken
we
them,
don't know how.
that we don't know, but we've agreed to certain things, and so we've all created cyber crimes.
Yeah.
So they won't bother you. No one will come after you until they want to. And as soon as you do something they don't want to, now they have crimes against you that I'm like, oh, well, we'll charge you with this and this and this and this.
And you're like,
and this.
what do you mean? And it's
And
like,
it's just
well,
like,
you
have
you
you
got that
ever-
out and send it?
Have you ever read the iTunes terms and services?
No.
It literally says that you cannot use the software to make nuclear bombs with.
Make what?
Nuclear bombs. And weapons of mass destruction.
Is there people that probably tried that or did that or can't do that?
No,
Well, they
it's
use
just
it,
how
or is it to
American
protect
politics
themselves?
work.
I wouldn't even imagine. I was probably using music to basically trigger stuff, right?
I mean,
That's
it's,
how
it's,
I would
it-
imagine
it's,
they would use it. Use iTunes to trigger stuff so to cover their own asses.
it's to cover their own asses, just in case someone uses it to make these weapons.
Yeah, they have
so
to
they
put
can't-
all these clauses in there, right?
Yep.
Because they probably thought about it like saying, oh, what they'll do is they'll just use the iTunes account that to basically trigger music, and then we'll all of a sudden set off this thing, and blah blah blah. You cannot do that. If you do that, then
You've broken the iTunes
agreement, and
Never mind the nuclear bomb that went off, but like we're charging you with breaking his iTunes.
But I go, we're not paying reprimation for the damages that you caused.
Yeah, but pretty much anytime you update your Mac, you agree to not using the software to make nuclear bombs.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, man. The computers nowadays, the way that they update, like my Mac, I want to get off Apple simply because every day, bing, would you like to update your thing? And I'm just like, and I want to put ignore, and it doesn't give me that option anymore. So it says remind you tomorrow, Remind you tomorrow? Remind you
How
tomorrow?
about you update and then you don't get another
But the thing
notice
is, if
for
I
3
update,
months?
so the thing is that you update and you update and you update, then all of a sudden your hardware doesn't last with the software anymore. And now I need a new computer because my software is too fast for my hardware.
Well, it doesn't really matter what hardware, what software you use. Whether you use Windows or Mac, you always have the same problems.
Well, it's harder on PCs because it's third party. So
Yeah.
you can't basically universally shut everybody out. But because Apple's proprietary to Apple, they can literally force you every 2 or 3 years to have to buy a new system.
I've been using my Mac for 5 years and now it's still supported. So, okay.
Look at your phone.
I-
How often does your phone basically slow down after how often you update that? They've admitted
Frankly,
to it.
I think it's gone faster after updating to iOS 12
Mhm.
from iOS 11.
Yeah.
So
one do
what
you
you
have?
see in the keynotes right now, where Apple wants to go, and obviously they use the buzzword environmental friendly and sustainability. So they want people to use hardware longer because that's better because you use your products longer. It's buzzwords, obviously.
Dude, they want you to buy more product.
Of
It's
course.
all about buying more product.
Yeah, but it's just it's virtue signaling as well in my eyes.
Virtue signaling, how so?
As in, like, look how good we do. We make hardware work longer, so it's
Oh,
good
it's
for
a
the
yeah,
environment.
it's a front. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
100%.
But in the back, of course, they want to make money.
Yeah.
That's how capitalism works, and I no problem with that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they. I think that's Apple's bottom line is how much money they can make. They don't really care about the environment, allegedly.
Allegedly.
They say they do it. I mean,
They say they do, yeah.
But-
yeah,
Well,
virtue signaling.
They
yeah.
stopped doing that. They started realizing that they have to create product with shelf life because, like before, like look at the cars that were made in the 50s and 40s and 50s. They last 100
They're
years.
still going.
They're still
Yeah.
going, man. Can they be like, that's fucked up? Because like now those companies are going under. They all went out of business because they couldn't sell any more cars because their cars.
They didn't need to.
Once they sold them, their cars stayed in business. But then they said, what if we only make them last for 15 years? And then after 15 years, someone has to buy a new one. That's the maximum that it'll last. They'll just fall apart. So then they design them to fall apart. What's that called? You said some form of consumer.
I don't know.
consumerism.
No, it's like a.
No, there's a name for
There's
it.
a name for it where basically the shelf life on your products.
They do it with bushings. The bushings all the time in cars go on purpose, and they could just make them with. I forget if they make them with rubber or if they make them with hard plastic, but they make them with the one that falls apart. So let's say they make them with rubber, like the bushings. Those they crack and disappear and get all busted and stuff in 10 years or whatever. If they just made them with hard plastic, it'd be fine.
It would last forever.
It'd last forever. It was something like that, or vice versa. I can't remember which one
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I just knew that a friend in the industry told me that, and I was like, this makes total sense. Yeah, the car's just going to shit on purpose.
It's funny how cars devaluate after time, but if you look at old timers,
They go up.
They go up.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's weird.
Well, you know what it is, and I kind of figured it out why stuff goes up in price. 'Cause remember when you were a kid, what was the car that you wanted? Like when you were a kid was like at your age you probably would have been like I want a Stingray Corvette or I want like a muscle car or like the Dukes of Hazzard growing up I want like the the Charger.
69
You know,
Camaro,
like
SS.
you when you're
Classic.
growing up, you're looking at these cars and you're like, wow. And then you get old enough that you can afford one of those cars, and then you go after and you want to buy that car. That's why the value of that car has gone up. It's not so much that the young kids that want to buy it; it's the guys that grew up with that car want to get that car, and that's why the value goes up.
You think? And they
Yeah.
can now afford it?
And now you can.
Is that
afford
going to
it.
happen to the cars of now? You
No.
think someone in 30
No,
years is
nobody
going to be
wants
like,
to.
holy shit, I want an Elantra. Like,
I want a Honda Civic.
yeah, I want a Civic.
Well, how
People,
much- some-
Civic has like a cult following behind it.
That does. There might be some cars. Like what car right now? Like maybe like one of those fancy Range Rovers or something. Like no one's out there trying to buy a Pinto, right? But like a Range Rover or like one of those like a Jaguar from this time. Someone it'll probably be a classic in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
A classic. I think it'd be the higher end cars, like an Aston Martin, like a 2017 Aston Martin or something like that. In 20 years, someone's gonna be like, "Yo, that's a 2015 Aston Martin. That thing's sick."
Can you imagine?
That was before they went to electric.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's gonna
When
be
everyone's
like.
driving electric cars, it'd be like you want a gas car because you're just like, yo, man.
You think my car?
Does it stick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's not very many cars out there you can drive.
Yeah,
stick
that's why.
anymore.
Yeah, that's why
like
I got
stick,
it. Yeah.
Sticks are like.
Why don't you guys learn how to drive stick here?
No,
I
we
have
do.
stick. I love stick.
Well, they do. People know how
Pause.
to drive. They just stopped selling us sticks. They just start basically everything's automatic. It's just like it makes it easier for them to transfer into like automated cars. I think it's a problem though because if everyone was driving standard, we'd have less problems with distracted driving because it's harder to fucking drive when you have one hand on the stick and one hand on the wheel and you're literally driving with all four limbs, right?
Yeah.
Like you're literally driving the car. I love that, man. That's what I loved about driving is you were driving.
Yeah, I know. You get a. Yeah, I know. I can't drive anything other than
Stick
standard.
shift.
I drove a Tesla for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
What was that like?
It's amazing. It's so awesome. Literally, it's pretty weird in the beginning because, I mean, everything is automatic. So you sit down, you have to enter a PIN code to start the car.
That's pretty sick.
And then once you hit the gas pedal, you don't want to do it too much because
Did you go in suicide mode?
this version didn't have that.
No. Yeah.
What's
No.
suicide mode?
It's not
Suicide
suicide
mode.
mode, it's ludicrous mode.
Ludicrous mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically you get like an extra 40 horsepower.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like
but it's instant.
well
Yeah.
because it's like it's
There's
like
no mechanical like.
there's no mechanical, there's no pull, like it's
Yeah, but it
that's
doesn't
the problem
matter-
with that is that you go instant and then your tires go and they
No,
spin
it
right
doesn't.
out.
No,
No, the
because
instant
it's
is
four
like-
wheel.
Oh, it's four wheel.
Yeah, and it's got computers that tell each wheel like
which one has traction?
exactly like by the second. It tells you what happened by the millisecond.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that it doesn't matter whether you're driving 30 kilometers an hour or 130 kilometers an hour. You have the same traction. So you hit the gas pedal and you still get pushed back into your seat. It's
Yeah, the
so
ludicrous
crazy.
mode in the thing is like it
But
sucks you
even
back
without
in your seat
ludicrous
with
mode,
it. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
like that. So you know what my problem is with electric cars? They start changing it right now, and I think the first one not to do that it was Tesla. But why, when they introduced the first electric cars, did they have to look so futuristic?
I don't know. Like
Who
just
did
make
that?
normal, like make normal.
BMW.
I think
with
those
the
concept
i3 and
cars-
the i5.
i3 is a weird looking ass car.
Yeah.
There's concept cars. Like I've seen some. Like I was watching some movies. Where
Mercedes?
some of these guys come up with these concept cars, and they're trying to make things look like different.
Yeah.
It's the designers. They're trying to make it look different, and sometimes when they go so far off the mark, that the even the car company goes, thanks.
I mean, what are you trying to sell? A spaceship?
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah.
are weird. Yo, there's
I
this
gotta-
crazy Rolls Royce going on right now though. I don't even know the name of it, but the thing's nuts.
Yeah.
Like you sit inside of it and there's no windows.
Oh,
no.
like it's all yeah. I think I've seen it. It's all
It's all cameras,
It's all
yo,
cameras.
that
So what
thing is
happens is
dope.
there's no windows in it. I think I've seen that. It's no windows, but you see everything around you. So you can see all around you because of the cameras are there, and then there's all displays. So inside the car is just nothing but monitors and displays. So when you sit in there, you have like a 360 view of everything, but from the outside, zero windows.
I think it's like 360 is in you can see like there's no bars. Like you know in our cars we
Yeah.
got our little window bars. It's like a whole like I've never sat in one. Like it's I don't even know if there's
It's like
probably
just
on
one
the
big
planet
ma-
that's probably $100
big
million.
massive monitor.
But it's a huge monitor. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the
like
thing's
especially
dope.
when you
Awesome,
see it and you're just like, man, that's the Batmobile, man.
Yeah, the thing looks like the Batmobile.
It's got no windows.
But it better still has an umbrella in the door, though.
Which
It
one?
better still have the umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you know
You know about the umbrellas in the door, right?
Rolls Royce? There's an umbrella in the door.
Yeah.
That's like one of their key things.
Oh, so if it rains, you can. You pop it out.
So you push it and then you pop
You
it
get
out.
out. So if it's raining, you have an umbrella.
Yeah.
Bumbershoot.
That's pretty smart.
There's one guy, with Rolls Royce. Every Rolls Royce has that. It's their two tones, right? It's like light to dark or whatever. The guy who does that, there's a black line on Rolls Royces, and it's just one guy that does that, and he does it by hand. And he between the two coats, the two tones, he paints a line across the thing, perfect straight line. There's like one guy on the planet that does it.
Wow.
It's pretty badass. Like I think that's sick. Like he just paints this line, just perfect every time.
That's his job.
That's his job is to paint the
Oh,
line.
okay. I'm like thinking one. So there's one guy whose job is to paint between the two tones.
Yeah, because it takes how long to build a Rolls Royce? 12 months or something like that? 8 months?
I guess they're
Dude,
all
those
hand
guys
built,
don't
right?
make money off their cars. They make their money from the airplane.
Yeah, Rolls-Royce
Yeah,
engines. I
Rolls-Royce
was in
engines,
They
yeah.
run
Yeah.
all the engines for every single airplane. So like their business is in the airplane engines, their luxury is making cars. you know, like that's their side business, right? And
I mean, those
that's
things
why
go
they
for like $20 million.
That's why they can make one or two of them, and then just like that's it. And then it's not their main source of income. So they can make a pimp ass car because they get all their money from the engines.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably, yeah. I've never seen what their revenues are from, but yeah.
Dude, they monitor every single engine.
I know.
In flight as it's flying. So like if their engine is going, like if a plane is flying and it has like they're getting constant data coming back.
Rolls Royce is.
Yeah, and they go, ooh, this engine is having some issues. It's not performing very well. They go and service it right away. So that's insane, bro.
They service it in flight?
No,
Through electronics?
No. So like if a plane is flying and it's not, and one of the engines
it's not performing
properly,
fully. Yeah.
when it lands,
Then it's
they go and service the engine
yeah,
because
yeah.
they know it's not performing to top. So the engines are always performing at all top, and it's not like the plane is just flying and nobody knows what's going on. Someone's monitoring every engine at Rolls-Royce, all their engines, because it's all their engines.
I'm not sure if it works that way though, because as far as I know, it's the pilot who noticed something differently than they're used to.
Yeah.
And they have their screens and they see how much power they have on every
I'm
engine.
sure that they monitor there too. I'm just saying that, like, I know because I was watching
everything's
a
recorded.
I mentioned a
For sure.
documentary where at Rolls-Royce, like, that's one of their things that they do is they monitor their engines
So,
on all their planes.
Boeing, WestJet or Fly Emirates allows Rolls-Royce to look at the engine.
No, their engine is theirs. They bought the engine from Rolls-Royce.
I know this.
Rolls-Royce. So the
And they're allowed that data? Rolls-Royce is allowed that
They
data
have
back?
to monitor their engines.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's their
yeah.
engine that's in that plane. So that's part of their service. Is that they keep the engine running.
So
Top notch.
Fly Emirates or whatever company is like, okay, we're going to pay Rolls-Royce to
We buy their
monitor.
engine.
We're going to buy the engine,
Yeah.
flat up front, whatever it is.
So no, how it works is Air Canada or KLM or whatever airline goes to either Airbus or Boeing to purchase new aircraft.
Yeah.
Or through a leasing company, and then they get the question like, what engine do you want? Do you want Rolls-Royce? Do you want General Electric?
Does BMW still do engines,
no,
or are they done?
There's a couple major companies.
What's the other one?
Not BMW. Was Mercedes-Benz. Like
No.
they were an engine company too,
Because
right?
BMW was. I don't know what who makes tanks.
Tanks?
Like, because all this stuff came from the war, right?
Yeah, of
Like, all
course.
these
Jet
companies-
engines are.
Like all these companies came out from the
I think
war.
the Germans
The
created
Germans.
the first jet engines.
Dude, the Germans had something. They had something in their back pocket, bro. They couldn't have come up with that much shit that quickly. You know, they had something in their back pocket. There's like something going on in Germany, man. That many scientists came up with that much technology in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Like in such a short period of time, man.
There's some interesting technology that we got because of the wars.
Yeah. We haven't seen anything since then. Like everything has just been improved, but I don't think there's anything really been.
I don't think there's much more to show, is there?
Well, I don't know. There's still like a bunch of stuff that like Tesla did.
You
that
don't know
they-
what you wanted until
You don't know
see
what you
it.
don't know. You know?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
they say.
that's
You don't know
true.
what you don't know. So we don't know what else is out there, right? Until you try to find it, and you don't even know what you're looking for. That's the crazy
That's
part.
true, yeah. I'm saying the world's pretty connected. Like they brought back pizzas from Italy from the war, and people are like, oh, I've never had this food before, but like.
I'm like, you can have the bread unleavened, and then put sauce on it, and tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce? What the hell type of crazy behavior is this? And basil and cheese? What the? Is this going to taste good? Yeah, I had it, honey, in the war, and we were eating it all the time.
And then some idiot came with pineapple.
Some asshole comes with pineapple, eh? Who was that guy that did that?
Pineapple does not belong on pizzas.
Maybe in the Caribbean. That's where they got all their pineapple. Someone put it on there and be like, yo.
Oh, yes, yeah, Caribbean guy
This
got
is
a
good
pizza back
stuff.
from the war, too.
What wasn't the Pizza Hawaii a Canadian invention?
It's maybe, I don't know. It's ham. It's ham, pineapple. That's just ham and pineapple, isn't it?
Yeah, some cheese.
Yeah,
It's ham,
it's
pi-
called a Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, Hawaiian,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's got to be from the Hawaiians, the Polynesians, and all those guys. Those are the guys that put the pineapples.
I
on
mean,
the pizza.
someone must have been really drunk.
So
I only got some leftovers. I'll
So
just smash it on a pizza.
It was some rugby player, you know, just put it all together for his team and stuff like that. So
Going back to Rolls-Royce, though, I remember my very first time flying when I was 16 years old. And
Like you a pilot, like you fly?
no,
or
like
just
as a
being in the plane?
passenger, like my first ever flight was from Amsterdam through to London. Because I used to be not afraid of flying. I was just scared for the unknown.
Yeah,
So-
unknown.
Yeah, because I'd never
You
flown
don't know what to
before.
expect.
Yeah, exactly. So it was my first ever flight. It was on EasyJet. It was on an Airbus, I believe. But what I remember best, it was Rolls-Royce engines. And I felt so cool. I've been on a Rolls-Royce, you know, and it was just an aircraft. It's so stupid. But aviation is something that has really grown on me ever since. And it's become pretty much of an obsession. So after I moved to Spain, I started flying between Barcelona and Amsterdam quite often.
Those are two of my favorite cities, by the way, Amsterdam and Barcelona. Amsterdam is the chillest city I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen many people just relaxed and chill.
Because they're all high.
I didn't think everyone was high. Most people are just sitting there drinking beers. Like you can't. The people that are high, the thing is, it's not like Canada where you can smoke out in the public. That's the difference. In Amsterdam, you have to be in.
No,
You have to smoke inside.
You can.
You have to smoke inside the. Inside the
No, you can't smoke outside. The police won't enforce it on you.
Yeah.
Unless you're making trouble.
No, I wasn't gonna try that, man.
No, you don't.
Canada
You
and
don't want to fuck around
I
with
don't wanna-
different laws in different countries.
different countries and get arrested. And be
What
like,
about that one person? Yo, you hear about that girl? I think it was a girl. Was spray painting, like graffitied a wall in North Korea or some shit.
That doesn't sound like a smart idea.
Yeah, they did that.
That
That's
doesn't
what I'm
sound
saying.
like a smart idea in any country, let alone in freaking North Korea.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, how did she even get into North Korea?
That's pretty easy.
You can get in, yeah.
Yeah.
There's planes you can land and
So
stuff like-
you basically you can book a tour, and then you start in China, and then you either take a train or a flight
So
into.
the Chinese have such a strong relationship with North Korea
Yeah,
that
'cause
they
they're
have
basically-
Chinese tours into North Korea.
No,
That's-
they're Western tour companies based
China.
in China, and they speak Korean, so they arrange
Yeah,
everything.
but basically what you're saying is that you can fly into China and China will say, okay, we're going to go to North Korea now and we're going to show you around.
Not
And
the
you can-
Chinese. It's westernized.
Yeah.
It's a Western outfit that's making.
So there's only one country that allows flights into North Korea.
Yeah,
That's China.
yeah.
But it's not the Chinese doing the traveling.
Well, no,
and
someone
stuff.
has to be connected with the West to bring the West over, but that connection has to be coming through China.
Yes.
It's through the Chinese relationship that you're actually getting in, right? You can't get in there without that Chinese relationship. That's what I'm
No.
saying. So, like, basically the outfit is set up in China, even though it's being run by someone who is either American or probably not American,
No.
but probably Canadian or something, right? Who's there living in China. And it's probably some Canadian Chinese guy that was
Running
born
a
here,
tourism
running a
agency.
tourism in
Yeah.
China.
I mean,
that's
it's very
basically-
expensive. Like it's like $2,000-$3,000. It's really expensive, and everything is arranged for. So you get on a plane, and it's really
And you're only gonna see
You're
No,
gonna-
you only
you're-
see
it's
like
stuff.
certain little parts.
Yeah, and
you're only
the-
gonna see the good stuff that's for
they're doing these
tourists.
dances
Yeah.
by children and stuff. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's really hard for me to make a decision here. In some way I want to go because I want to see how that is. But on the other hand, if you do that, you sponsor the
You're promoting,
regime.
yeah, you're promoting the regime
Yeah,
in terms of how it runs.
exactly.
You know, so I don't know. It's like it's an interesting concept. Like looking at the whole thing with North Korea too. Like I kind of look at it like his advisors were just saying, "Yo, you want to?" Nobody's paying attention to this kid at all. Like nobody, like brushing him off. You have all of these powerhouses.
Who, Kim Jong Un?
Yeah, you got all these powerhouses that are basically ignoring this kid. So his advisor's saying the only way you can get a seat at the table, the only way people are going to take you seriously is if you build up the army
Yeah.
and you show you have actual muscle strength. That's all he wanted to do is have a seat at the table, right? So because now that he's a muscle strength, sure enough, you got to put him at the table because now you got to talk to him because you got to know what he's going to do. Otherwise, before that, they're like, we don't want to have anything to do with him. And they literally got shunned from the whole world, so they can't survive.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's
what-
like the world's done something to them in a sense that this is the only way that they can survive is by uniting as a military faction. That's
Yeah.
it. And then the people in North Korea can only make money because all the money is into the military, all their investment is there. You can only make money is if you join the regime, right? So that's what people don't like. They're like, I don't want to be part of the army.
So what I think happened with North Korea in the past couple months, 2 years, is so North Korea gets quite a lot of money in financial aid for humanitarian reasons, but because whatever Kim Jong-un did, they cut off that financial aid. So he thought, if I wreck up my my army, I start doing nuclear testing, they eventually want to get me on the table, and they want to
But you know,
give. They'll, in exchange for cutting down on the nuclear tests in the army, they'll give the financial aid again,
Yeah.
and that's what Kim Jong-un has done, and he's done it before, and they're doing it now again. So I think it's all a big play.
yeah, not only
just
that,
for the money.
Not only that, but you got to also think about it too. Is all the money for their military is coming from China? So what's really happening, what people don't even understand, is it looks like China is building an army over here under the flag of North Korea, where people are just like, North Korea is like, here's some money, run these tests, do this kind of stuff, do this stuff, because they keep feeding them more money, more money, more money.
You think so?
Yeah, so the money flows
Where are you
from
getting
China.
this information from?
This is, I read it on the internet, so I don't know if it's
Alex Jones.
it's allegedly and stuff like that. But that's
Back on that Alex Jones
these
thing?
are these are things that people have to research on their own.
What's this,
Don't take my word
InfoWars?
for it. Yeah, don't take my word for it. But from what seems to be happening is China's building its army through North Korea, right? Because like basically, if China starts creating nuclear weapons, it's like a big problem.
Yeah.
If little North Korea creates nuclear weapons, nobody really pays any attention, right? So why not just build your army through them? And now the money, where's the money coming from? The
That
money's
was
coming
until
straight
they
from
started
China.
testing, and they flew a missile over Japan.
Yeah, but Japan is not China.
No, but
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When
So
was that? When was that?
If they
missile
that
flew
was
it-
like on the height of when it just before.
when they were shooting missiles into the ocean.
Yeah, no, yeah, and everyone got freaked out at that
Because they were
like,
testing them
what
into
in
the ocean and it blows.
shit is
I'm like,
happening?
not only that, man, but like people don't realize almost like that those explosions fuck up the ocean because like they were doing. Remember when the Americans were doing those
They do
stupid
nuclear
sonic
tests
tests
underneath
They were
water,
doing
yeah.
those fucking sonic tests in the water, and then all the fish were getting killed because like they blow out the eardrums from all of the mammals because they are sonar based, and when they basically do a sonar blast underwater, they blow out all the eardrums from all these whales, and then they beach themselves because they're now swimming blind. They can't hear anything. So they're basically swimming into shore, and now you got like thousands and thousands of whales that have been beached because they were trying to
They got
test
hit with a sonar blast.
sonar blast underwater that the Americans were testing weapons and something. It's like, it's just stupid stuff, man. Like, what are you doing?
They
Yeah.
shoot nukes underwater too, which is pretty wild. They test nukes underwater.
Like, they're just
And
killing them.
it's besides the sea life, it's pretty harmless though.
Yeah.
Besides all this, what does that sea life have any? Does it have anything to do with us though? Like, does that mess up our ecosystem, the sea life and stuff?
Depends how deep you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
What another crazy thing with sea life though is they're not talking about Fukushima, is it? There's that nuclear reactor that went off in Japan like how many years ago?
The leaking
Yeah.
one,
yeah,
Fukushima, yeah.
it's still leaking,
Yeah, they can't stop.
and no
it.
one talks about it. Okay, what's happening with that? That's a serious question. I'm like worried about it in the back of my mind, like 10 levels deep.
The latest thing I read about it is that the radiation there is super low.
Yeah.
The radiation level, yeah.
I leaked a shit ton there for a while though. Like it
For a
was
bit,
leaking
yeah.
for a while.
But it's been blown up by the media a lot. And then all the governments worldwide started talking about, oh, is it safe to have nuclear power? In my opinion, I think it's the best and the safest way to get electricity that we need without having all the CO2 that comes with coal.
They need to have. I was reading.
see what you're saying,
I was
yeah.
reading into all this stuff about the nuclear power. They just need to have safeguards where you can shut down the nuclear cores, where they basically flood them.
I'm sure they've come up
They
with
figured
that.
that stuff up where if it does melt, it's like not a meltdown where someone has to go and manually fix it or
But
end it.
it's-
It's literally like it creates a meltdown, and then the water cooling system shuts the whole thing down.
Yeah, but the point is, the piece of nuclear stuff is in the water. The water heats up and creates a steam,
Yeah.
and that's how the electricity is created. It only melts down if all
The
the
water
water.
dries up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's what-
you,
yeah.
you need that constant flow of water to keep the steam going on.
They're in water anyway right now. They're sitting in water, aren't they?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Yeah, they're in water.
Because otherwise
all
they
the
get
time.
too hot.
Yeah, otherwise they get too hot and melt down. That's what it is.
Yeah, but you need a piece of uranium like this for just the whole of Edmonton for a year.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
pretty wild, hey? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Where do you even get uranium?
You dig it up from under the ground.
Hey, have you ever seen that little country? I can't remember where it is, but like I was watching where they have like the blue flame at night, where like they got these little villages that go to these sodium mines, and they take big chunks of sodium, but like at night it's just this blue flame that's burning.
They light it on fire? It's
No,
burning already.
It's already burning. It's like a natural flame that's just burning all the time, and it's like, but it's all sulfur and everything. So you breathe that stuff in. So these guys go, they wear their mask, and they literally take all the sulfur from there, and they carry as much as they can carry back.
Yeah.
And they hike it back, and they break it down, and they make like $9 from the sulfur that they mine. But the thing is that like
$9?
They have a
$9
lifespan of like 30 years.
yeah, because of all of the toxins and stuff. But like now they're basically, because no one's buying it from them anymore, their business is starting to change into tourism business, where they're taking people up to the mountain to show them the blue flames, and it looks wild. Like I saw it on one of these nature channels, and I was like, what? This is wild. It looks like you're in Mordor.
What country is this?
Somewhere in Asia, I think it was some country up.
Dude,
in
they get down in China with some
Yeah,
crazy
like
shit.
it was
So
like
like
it looked like
Philippines
Mordor,
or-
bro. Like it was like you were there and this mountain was on fire, and it was
Sort
blue
of some
fire.
like Cambodia or so.
Yeah, some weird remote place where it's just like it's like this volcanic like mountain that you just look at, and it's all black and blue lights, and you're just like, I'm like, oh.
There's some interesting places on the planet, eh?
Yeah.
Like some really cool spots.
yeah. There's like this planet is very it's got a lot of stuff going on.
Have you been to China?
No,
Never?
I haven't been.
You?
Yep,
Where you been?
just Beijing.
All right.
Yeah.
Where'd you go in Beijing?
I can't remember. I was there for a couple days. Like it wasn't anything crazy.
I mean, you probably went to like the Forbidden City, eh?
Yeah.
Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
Did you go
There's
to
a
the
Forbidden
mausoleum?
City. What do you mean Forbidden City? What's a Forbidden City?
It's where the dynasties used to live.
Okay.
And it's called the Forbidden City because only the dynasties,
Was
like
supposed
important
to be
people,
there?
were allowed in.
There's forbidden cities all over Asia. Like they're all over like
Like you're not supposed to be there, or like they're just called the Forbidden Cities.
Well, they used to. Civilians couldn't
couldn't go in
enter
there.
it.
They're big
I mean,
gated like
it's
cool
huge,
things. There's
yeah.
big
But now
walls
they're like
around 'em.
opened up.
Now
Yeah,
they're opened up.
It's
Yeah.
opened up for tourism.
I don't know the names of them. I went to like 10 forbidden cities. Like they're everywhere.
10 Forbidden Cities.
And different all over Asia because I just had a little motorbike and just drove around.
That'd be dope, man.
Yeah,
Just
so
to
there's
get around
forbidden
on a
cities
motorbike.
in all the different cities.
Motorbike would be the dopest way to get around. Like I enjoyed getting around in bike. Like when I went to Barcelona, you just rent a bike and you figure out your surroundings on a bike.
Yeah.
It's very simple to do. But like even a motorcycle, it gives you way more.
Dude, it's so fun. Just little 50 cc's though. Like the max you're going is 60 kilometers an hour.
But that's perfect.
You're just revving this thing up like.
A lot of people do it in Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam,
So
yeah.
they start either in the north or the south, and they drive to the other side of the country. So they buy it on one side of the country, and they resell it in the
They
other
buy
side.
a
of the-
bike.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
just,
it?
yeah, you just buy the bike down in like Ho Chi Minh or something like that and sell it in
Hanoi.
Hanoi. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and then they do back and forth, eh? And then
Oh,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
make a profit from it either side.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was doing.
Yeah.
I ended up on a bus one time, and that was a wild experience. It was crazy.
What happened?
I don't know. I thought I was gonna die every 2 seconds. Like
It
I
was
was
like
so
driving
scared.
next to the cliff.
These guys don't give two shits about anything. Like the guy was smoking cigarettes and spitting. He was just smoking. And there's like 30 of us crammed in the back. I'm the biggest dude there. Like I'm not. It's a sleeping bed.
Yeah.
Like a sleeping bus. And like the bed was the size of this. Like I was curled up in this little thing, like pushed between 6 other dudes, and I was just like, "Fuck, I don't want to die like this." And just like the guy's honking every 2 seconds, it's like, meh, 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 meh. These guys are, meh, meh, meh. And like he's going ahead on traffic against other buses, like he's going in the wrong lane, and then just like, and it's just like drops to your death. Like I'm on this thing for like 7 hours. I'm like, I don't want to die. It was terrible. And then they stopped at the most random places, and I was like, these guys are selling drugs out the back of this thing. Like, We just go to some random little. I'm like, these guys are selling drugs. I was
They're just like doing a drop.
I thought they were selling all of our luggage in the bottom. I was like, oh man, because I had like 4 bags with me.
Why? I can't do that. When I travel, I never leave my bag alone. I'm like, if they're gonna steal it from me,
They're gonna
I'm like,
actually
they
pry
have
it
to
from
physically
you.
steal it from me. Like that's the thing. Although that also got a gun pulled on me one time. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, you don't
no.
fuck around in other countries. Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna
dude.
steal my bag, steal the bag. Like,
So I fucked
gonna
up though. Like I was in Ecuador at this time. So I'll tell you the story. So I was in Ecuador, and I was there with a humanitarian mission.
Yeah.
So and we were in Quito. We were stationed in Quito, but I had some friends. I stayed like after my mission was done. I had some friends in Guayaquil. So I went down to Guayaquil to go and visit my friends. And while I was in Guayaquil, it was one of their birthdays, and they were going to like a 4-star fancy dinner place, right? So I needed a suit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ah, shit, okay. So I bought a suit to go to this dinner. And once I had to come back to Quito to meet up with the group, I had nowhere to pack the suit because I just had a backpack with me, right? So I wore the suit on the plane, and I wore it back to the hotel. And then when I got to the hotel, I dropped off my luggage there, but I kept my backpack that had my passport, my camera, my laptop, everything that was important. I did not want to leave it just sitting at a hotel in the back room there. I took it with me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the street looking for my group. They all went for dinner and they all went down this way. Normally you're supposed to travel in a group, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking now at night with a backpack wearing a full suit. So I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden I see out of the corner of my eye, these guys start crossing the street walking towards me, right? And the guy pulls out a gun and he points it at me. And it's, you know when like you play a video game and everything like slows down? My senses went phew, through the roof, like instantly, where all of a sudden I was picking up information so fast and so quickly, like boom, I saw the gun, boom, I saw this mother and child. She grabs her child and holds her child. I see a cab driver to my right who stopped and was looking outside of his window. I noticed there's 2 of them and I'm just like, shit. And then on top of that, so after I recognized all that, I look at the gun, I registered, I'm like thinking, BB gun. First thing I thought was like BB gun because the barrel size was too small. It may have been more, but anyways, that's what I told myself.
that's a ballsy freaking.
And then I go, and then I was thinking to myself, okay, and this is how fast my brain was registered. And I was thinking to myself, if I stop, I'm in a situation. If I fucking ignore them, like I'm like a homeless guy
You're in a
asking you for
situation?
money, if I ignore them, I might be able to just walk right through this. Like just walk right through it like it never happened, right? So the guy pulls out his gun, he's like, dame una mochila. And then I know, because I'm holding the bag, I know they're gonna try to reach for it. So I just kept walking, like it was like they weren't even there, like fucking ignored them. And I squeezed my bag and I was waiting for the guy to grab the bag. So I knew it, I was just waiting for it, right? The second I felt his hand grab the bag, I yanked the bag over, so pulled it out of his hand, and I spun around and I go, fuck you! And I looked both of it, and they're both holding guns, and they're both holding, but they both got like, what the fuck? You know, like I shocked them because I totally just swore at these guys. And then I turned around and then just kept walking, right? Like, just like it was, they weren't even there.
Yeah, that was a power move.
And I just kept walking, and then I looked back to see if they were still following me, and they looked at each other, and they said, fuck that. And they walked the other way because they started to realize that people were watching them as well, right?
Yeah.
I crossed the street instantly, and I go inside of a bar, and the second I went into the bar, my heart just dropped. And I was like, what the fuck was that?
Did you then start realizing?
I was just like, holy shit.
Your adrenaline levels went up.
So high, bro.
Sky high.
So high.
Dude, that's insane. No one would do that. That's like a 1 in 100,000 people who would do that. Everyone would just be like, yeah, sure, yeah, here's the bag.
Well,
was it a BB gun or real?
I couldn't, man, because I was leaving the next morning, bro. My passport, everything was in there. If I didn't, and I was out of money. I was like done. Like my trip was over. I'm leaving the next day. I blew it all. So I'm just like, if they took my bag, I would have been screwed. I would have been stuck in the country. I would have been stuck there. So I'm just like, hell's no, right? So that was the thing, and it was.
That's an insane story.
It's an awesome story.
Yeah. So that happened there. Well, Ecuador too. It happened to me one time before where a guy was trying to do something to me. And sometimes you play stupid, like I'll play dumb. Like the guy was like, I'd be in this area where it's a bad area or whatever, and this guy's talking funny to me. He's like in Spanish. He's just like, hey.
You speak Spanish?
Yeah. So he's just like, let me let me show you the top of the mountain. I'm not like, I'm not stupid, man. I know there's people up at the fucking top of you're trying to take me. I'm like, I'm like, what's at the top of the thing? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like playing dumb with him and tries, he goes, you know, like, it's a good view up there, blah, blah. Some guy walks past us. And I'm just like, I'm getting out of the situation because it was just me and this one guy, right? So I'm getting out. So as soon as that guy walked past me, I flicked this guy $1. First off, when you throw the guy money and he takes the money, that confuses people too, because all of a sudden I'm like, this guy just gave me money. I didn't even ask for it, right?
Who? The guy is saying go to the top.
The
of
guy
the
was trying to, I just gave him some money. I said, hey, thanks for you, and I threw him some money, and I threw it to him. I said, here's some money, and I flicked him $1, right? And so he catches $1, and he's kind of confused on why I gave him money because he never asked me money. And then I just started walking with the guy next that walked past. I started walking with the guy and said, hey, what's going on, man? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, because you know that guy's trying to rob you. I'm like, I know, that's why I'm walking with you.
Was the guy mad? He's like, yo, fuck out of here.
So he just walked me out of the situation, and he's just like, yeah. I was like, all right, man, see you later, Thea, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I totally knew what was going on, man. But I was just like, jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be savvy when you travel. I'm sure you've seen some wild stuff, eh? Or maybe not wild, but like.
I mean, I've been to quite some countries, but I've never been in situations where guns were pulled at me.
Yeah.
But certainly people were trying to trick me into scams. Even in Paris, it happened to me once where I almost got scammed. It was so stupid because I had my guard low. So because I thought I was the guy who was touring everybody around because I'd been to Paris so many times and I knew it all, and I was telling all the other people what we're doing.
What to do.
So I was off guard. So at that moment, some of these African dudes down at the Sacré-Cœur, the church. And
is that the big church?
It's the one on top of the hill.
Okay.
The white grayish church, and they start talking about this bullshit story about Hakuna Matata, and yeah, I know. And
come on,
I was not.
There wasn't Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, no, they literally said that, and they start wrapping this piece of red string around your arm.
Make it stop.
And in the end, they're like, yeah, you have a couple euros for me, and I was like, okay, I can lose €1, and he's like, do you have any notes instead?
They're trying to see how much money you have.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough that I only gave the €1.
Yeah.
But my friend, he gave him a 20 so he could break it, but he took the 20 and they run off with the 20.
Oh, yeah. That's just a straight out give me the money and run.
That's
not a very
and I run after them. I was like, you give my fucking money back.
Yeah.
I was like screaming, I'm gonna call the police. I mean, police does nothing.
What are they going to do?
Nothing.
Dude, I was in Paris. You know what they did in Paris? They went over there. They stole all of their trinkets because they're selling on the streets.
The
Not allowed.
cops?
Yeah, they'll steal all their trinkets and they literally steal it and they kick them out and then they throw all the shit in the garbage. I'm like, they no tickets, no nothing. They just literally like come in there. They come into their thing and start kicking over all their stuff.
The Paris police.
I'm like, the Paris police, man. I'm like, man, these guys are bullies, man. They just come in there and they just kick everyone's stuff down because they're selling illegally without a permit. So they'll come in there and they'll just, because the business that they have there, they'll buy all of these little trinkets from like, they're like Chinese trinkets or whatever. Some guy who basically has a warehouse filled of these stuff.
Just bullshit little things?
These bullshit little trinkets.
They're selling them to tourists?
And they basically get all of these,
Eiffel Towers.
All of these Africans that basically are in the country illegally go and work for these guys. And they basically give them bags full of trinkets, and they basically have to like go and sell that, and then come back and buy more trinkets from them.
Yeah.
So that's how they basically make their money.
Like some bullshit little tiny little
Eiffel
Towers.
Yeah, little Eiffel Towers and all shit like that, or like a bunch of like Gucci purses, or like all this stuff.
Like
and
sneakers.
So they
set up
these little blankets. They set up these blankets.
And there's a rope at each corner.
So when they gotta
they
run,
can pull it out,
so they can run and go, whew, and everything just goes into the thing, and they throw it over
chuck
the
it over the shoulder
and they book it, right?
I remember.
I've never seen that. That's hilarious.
That's how they do it. I'm just like, this is insane. Like this is, and like they'll show up with like Like sometimes I've seen some guys that have like these fucking massive duffel bags, right?
Of just
Massive of
bullshit.
just bullshit little trinkets that they sell to tourists.
But I remember
Who's buying this
my
shit?
first-
Tourists are buying them, man. They don't know.
Why are
They
you
don't-
buying that from some
you don't-
African
Because
dude?
you
Like,
don't,
doesn't
'cause you
make
don't
any
know
sense.
because there's like fucking 50,000 guys. So
That's
you-
why I wouldn't buy it
So
from
you
them. I
no,
don't think
so
this
you
makes
think
no
so you
sense.
think you're at like a farmer's market. You know, like you think you're at like a street market. You know, it's like everyone has their shit laid out on the floor until the cop shows up and everyone goes vroom, and they all run away. And you're just like, hey, I was in the middle of a transaction here and you ran away.
You still have those sneakers in your hand. No, I remember the first day or the first week I was in Barcelona. I just landed there and I just saw a big group of like 15, 20 African dudes, tall, big guys, walking around with big bags. And I was like, what the fuck is this? But then I walked down the La Rambla and I saw them everywhere. I mean, the whole strip, the whole La Rambla street is like 2 kilometers long, and they were everywhere.
That's the business.
And
That's
then
the-
as soon
that's
as
the
you see
underground
one
business.
policeman, you see them running on the other side of the
I would
street.
be laughing so hard.
Dude,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I don't understand how they like. I'd be there and like there's groups of like, there's probably about like 10 guys that will be scombing the street working together, and they talk to each other, and then they scout stuff and they sell drugs on the street at $10. And I'm just like, who the fuck buys drugs off the street when you're on holidays? I'm seeing some of these American kids, man. I'm just like, are you retarded? Like you're buying a 10-piece from some guy off the street? Are you stupid? What's the matter with you? You know, like.
What are you thinking? Like,
I'm like, what are you thinking? I'm just like,
Oh, usually they're hammered.
oh, it's
I
just
know, but
ridiculous.
still, you
but
end
still,
up
like,
like-
you're like end up like it's these stupid little girls. I'm just like, dude, that's an 18-year-old girl just buying drugs off of some random guy off the street in a back alley that she was basically sent to by 3 other guys. And I was just like, and I'm watching this and I'm just like, this is the dumbest move I've ever seen someone do in my life. This is the dumbest move ever. Like, it's crazy.
And then the parents are at home like just like thinking everything's all good, like
All
talking
good.
to little
Yeah.
Margaret, like
It's like, yo, man.
everything's fine, just hung out
Yeah,
at the
and then they're
park
gonna go
today."
home. Some bad shit happens to them while they're on holidays, and they don't tell anybody about it because they did some stupid shit that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah,
You know, and put
jeez.
themselves in that situation. I remember when I first showed up there, I didn't know what I got into because I showed up on La Rambla. I was looking for my hostel.
La Rumba?
La Rambla.
La Rambla.
La Rambla.
So I show up there, and there's this one guy, and he's arguing with the cops, right? He's like, fuck, man. Like, he said, fuck, shit, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is ridiculous. Okay, fuck. You know, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, you guys are right. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. The cops, I've never seen a guy so calm in my life.
The cop?
The cops, because they don't want to create a scene, right? So what they do is they're all
Oh,
just...
these guys are...
They're good,
cold.
man. They're good,
They're
man.
cold.
They're cold. So the guys are not even talking to the guy. The guy's literally like trying to talk himself out of like getting arrested, but they're not even trying to arrest him. They're like just circling him. So they're all walking and they're slowly circling him and slowly just closing him off. And they're slowly just like, he's just talking and fuck, okay, yeah, okay, fuck, you're right, blah, 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 blah. Like, and they're slowly pushing him into like a fucking alleyway. And the second that they get him out of sight of all the tourists, they grab him, they throw him into the fucking, into a building. They beat the shit out of him, throw him into a van and drive off like it would never happen. So nobody witnessed it. I'm like, what did I just see here? You know, like what just happened?
You're not supposed
I
to
didn't
see
even
that.
notice
I'm
type
not
of
that
supposed
stuff.
ever.
to see it.
No,
Huh?
no.
You're not supposed to see it because it's the tourist street, so they don't want to cause a scene. But I've never seen cops so calm in my life. Like you go here and like all of a sudden if someone acts up, these cops freak out and they get all nervous and they get paranoid. Same in the United States. These guys get nervous, they pull out guns and they get all, like these guys were they were walking with like their hands behind their back, like they were like, stay calm, man. It's okay. It's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Even though like 2 turned to 3, turned to 4, and they're all just slowly kind of like, and the guy's starting to look around. He's just like, okay, I understand, blah, blah, blah. There's no problem. And he'll start walking away, but they're pushing him into the alley. So the second he got into the alley, that's when they grab him, and they all just go, whoom, and they just beat him up and fucking throw him in the thing and gone.
Jeez.
Like no trying to write him up there, literally threw him in the van and then got him the fuck out of there. And then whatever they did to him at that point, I don't know. But like I was just like, holy shit,
That guy got
where
the
am I
business,
staying?
man.
I just got here.
Yeah, but there's a lot of criminality on La Rambla. There's loads of pickpockets. People I've been pickpocketed twice in Barcelona, where they bumped into me, asking for something stupid as a lighter, for instance.
Yeah, I can tell right away when someone's being shady as fuck. Though.
Yeah.
You know, when someone's being shady as
So
hell.
they-
So I try not to bring anything that can even pickpocket me. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
so
just like-
so one guy starts asking for something, maybe to use your phone or something, and then you're off guard, and then the guy behind you slips into your pocket to get your wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
they work
what-
in pairs. They are threes.
Yeah, they all work in pairs. It's like one distracts, one bumps into you. Oh, sorry. So this guy bumps into you, the guy behind you pickpockets you the
Yeah.
second you got bumped.
And you think it's that guy, but it's
Yeah,
the other
it's the other guy
Yeah.
that's
The other
behind
guy,
you.
yeah.
They just they time you. They probably look at each other
And-
and, they
and
go,
they-
"That's the guy." And then they both they communicate without actually like
Yeah.
talking, and then they come and then they pull the act on
They
you.
do the whole
And they
thing.
know when you're drunk,
Oh yeah.
because
Oh,
that's when they pray you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, because you don't even know.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah.
misdirection. It's called. Magicians do it all the time.
Yeah.
That's how they take your watch and shit. They'll do something with your arms. They'll make your arms like slap together or something. But while they're doing that, they're just
They're
taking your
unclasping the watch, and then all of a
Unclasping
sudden
the
the watch
watch,
is
yeah.
on their wrist and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do stuff like that. It's like, look over here, but really the magic is happening down here, right? Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, well, man, I think we had a good little episode here.
Yeah,
we
not
got
bad,
into
yeah.
we got into a few little things. What did we talk about? We talked about a little bit of the internet. We talked
about a
travel.
bunch. We went all over
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Yeah, we hit the whole gamut. We talked about Rolls Royce. We talked about Rolls Royce no windows. We talked about friggin' in ludicrous mode in Teslas.
Yeah.
There was a
Beautiful.
lot happening.
Yeah, technology and travel. That's what we got into today.
I guess, yeah, technology and travel, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. Well, man, we're happy to have you here in Edmonton. We're I'm
Perfect.
glad you got a new job and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And we'll definitely get together sometime again. Go out for
Sweet.
some drinks and have
Definitely.
some coffees and stuff.
Yeah, I'm down. Well, yeah, no, nothing for you, Stevie.
Nothing for me, boys. On monk mode still.
That's all
And
good.
it's unfortunate that my YouTube channel doesn't have something where I can invite you guys, unless you guys like to fly. And then, I mean,
Yeah, I
do
like
you know
to
about
fly.
my YouTube channel?
No, tell
Oh.
us about your YouTube channel.
I haven't told them. Tell them
Ah,
about you. Tell
Tell
the
us
people
the
about your
channel.
YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
tell the
Reach you.
people. Tell them how
Yeah.
they find you.
So I've got a little YouTube channel called Fuelogs. That's VUELOGS.
Few
Ah.
log.
Fuelogs. So it's the Spanish word vuelos
Yeah.
with a G.
Okay.
So flights. What I do is I make trip reports. So I review flights from all sorts of different airlines and different aircraft. And I try to post another review every week, every
Yeah.
Friday. And it's something that I've been doing for a couple months now, and I've slowly been growing a subscriber base. And I'm currently working on my biggest episode yet for upcoming Friday, the end of the year special, where I'm reviewing British Airways first class on the Boeing 747.
That sounds wild, man.
Yeah.
Like, see, that's where you do these little travel shows and stuff like
Exactly.
that. And travel around and get to do a review on.
Yeah. So there's this thing called mileage runs, where you, with as little money as possible, you fly these routes where you get huge amounts of points, which you then can invest on a very expensive flight. So my flight on British Airways first class would